Peace and wellness, family. Thank you for coming back and checking out another episode of Sins of the Fathers. I am your host, Ani I Am, and just wanted to tap on some statistics that I've been kind of researching over the past, couple of days, and it was in, excuse me, it was in response to understanding why or what is preventing us from healing. Why aren't we healing when we kind of know that there are things that are wrong, that may be troubling us or may be making it difficult for us to grow or move past certain negative behaviors, right? And what I find is that, and this is not, again, to take away from the sisters out there who are seeking therapy, but this is just to kind of really make a point for the men who are out there. And, I realize that women, because they're probably more in tune with their feelings and because it's more accepted for them to be emotional, they are more willing and adept at going and talking to their friends. It doesn't seem as adverse for them to go and seek out therapy because they're comfortable talking about their feelings. They're comfortable sharing. They're comfortable being vulnerable with some of the ways that they feel, right? And what I looked up and I wondered, I'm speaking more for myself as well, is that in knowing all of the troubles that I've had and the difficulties in dealing with certain issues, my anger, my people pleasing, whatever it is, whatever those things are that I've found to be problematic for me, I still did not effectively seek out counseling. I wouldn't even really talk to some of my friends, close friends. Some of them I would, but then their knowledge may be limited, right? Their resources may be limited at the time as to what it is they could really help me with. So I wanted to look up some things, because I said, why is that? What is it about it? So I found some really interesting things that I want to share. And, again, this is not to exclude the sisters, because I applaud you. I respect you for going and getting the help when needed, whether that be for whatever reasons, personal, family, relationships, children, whatever it is. You guys will, are stronger in that way. And I'll give you that credit. I don't want to take that from you, ladies, at all. So I applaud you for that. But as men, I think we suffer in silence a lot more. And according to the American Psychological Association, that men utilize therapy services at half the rate of women. So about 9% of men go to therapy. And I'm going to assume that it's going to change culturally, right? So certain cultures, it's probably looked at even, they go even less than more, maybe educated cultures, right? Or maybe more knowledgeable cultures, or maybe more exposed cultures where it becomes a norm. So that was a thing that kind of really stood out to me. And then younger men go even less than older men, who are probably more mature, who have probably suffered a lot longer, probably have gone through a lot more, and say to themselves, at this point, I know I need help, and I'm going to go and get it, right? So the younger men are suffering even more, but the younger men are the ones that are actually doing the damage to their family and younger children, probably more than, some of the older men, because the older men probably have gone through the therapy, made the changes, have acknowledged their shortcomings, and have made certain decisions. Whereas the younger men are still kind of, throwing this dysfunctional behavior around and causing trauma on everyone that they've come in contact with, which is why we find like a lot of women and men are damaged by the time they get to their 30s and 40s and 50s, you know, because they've gone through so much unhealed issues that it's like, you know, they miss the opportunity to change early and really work on things, right? So just a thought. So, and then I'm gonna go down some things, right? So this is some common reasons that men seek therapy, and it's more driven by crisis. Like, you seek therapy when shit hits the fan. Excuse my French. That's when you seek therapy, when everything is going wrong, when it's the worst thing is happening and life is just unbearable and all these other things. That's when you start seeking therapy, right? And it's usually like you're about to go into a divorce. Then you want to seek therapy. But you knew that there were problems coming all the way up into the divorce, but you never said, let me go and do the therapy. Oh, I don't need therapy. Come on, we can just talk about it. We can just go on a trip. I'll buy you a bag, or, you know, whatever that sounds like, whatever that is, right? And that's where we go kind of see ourselves a lot of times. But we don't have to. You know, we should be able to see ourselves as a whole being that needs help sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with that. At least in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with it. But I'm just going to kind of share some of what's some of the reasons that we fall into that. It's work related. Like, so because we tie our value to our career, what we've accomplished, those accolades, we tie ourselves to that becomes our identity. That I think that when that happens, we have this, you know, we're missing something. And now when that becomes challenged, that's when we decide, okay, let's go and get some help. Because now we can't function in the system that gives us our value. Does that make sense? You know, so again, that was something that I thought was really interesting. You know, depression, when you're in depression, this is another reason why they seek out this. When you're in depression, but it's depression to the breaking point. You're at a breaking point of depression where you feel everything is coming down on you and you're going to crack, right? That's when you decide you're going to go and get therapy. So when you think about that, I mean, why are we waiting until the last minute? Why are we waiting until, you know, it's that level of pressure on us, right? So again, they say or your partner comes, you know, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever that person is, says, either you go get therapy or I'm leaving. And then you decide you want to go get therapy. But I'm sure up until that ultimatum came, there were times when you were it was suggested to you that, hey, maybe you need to go talk to somebody because you got, you know, you're a little angry sometimes, you know, things of that nature, right? But we don't do it at that point. And so it's just showing you why men don't do it, you know? Do we have to wait until it's like mandated by the court because you got anger issues and now the judge is saying, in order for you to, you know, drive or for order for you to get past this or that, you now have to go and get therapy. So it's mandated. So we don't, on our own, based on our own need, go out and get the therapy, which is a problem. It's a challenge. You listen to it. That's a problem. That why do we have to wait until it hits that point where we're being mandated by some outside entity to do something for ourselves that we kind of knew that we needed to do? You know, a lot of times it's again, this is just, you know, things that, you know, this is things that the studies are showing are reasons why men don't go, is because of societal and cultural acceptance. Going to therapy is weak. Going to therapy can't help. I don't need to tell nobody my personal business. They just going to mess with my head. They just want to get in there and reveal my secrets. Fear of acknowledging your own secrets. Fear of acknowledging abuse. Fear of acknowledging the negative things that you have experienced in your lifetime. the fear of that can stop you from taking action, because you don't want to expose the dark, deep secrets in the closet. You don't want to open that door up because you're not strong enough at that point to maybe face those things. And we gotta, again, be honest and real about what that is. Like, we are literally sitting in a pool of boiling water and expecting not to get burned because it's boiling all around us. We can see the things and how they're transpiring. We can kind of see it. We can feel it, right? We can feel it. So again, those are some of the reasons. And let me just give you a few more. And this one pisses me off. Cost. Because we'll spend considerable amounts of money on frivolous nonsense and then claim that therapy costs too much to go and heal yourself, to go and heal the one thing that is essential to you, to your being, which is your mind. So you would disregard, and again, I'm not speaking at anyone, I'm speaking internally as well, because I've done it. I didn't go and get therapy when I knew that I had issues. I knew I had anger issues. I knew I had, like I said, these different things that were going on with me. I knew I had, indecisiveness beyond a reasonable amount, right? I knew these things, but I still didn't go seek out therapy. For one, because it wasn't culturally normal for me. I had nobody in my family that had ever went. Male-wise. Now, I don't know if the females went, but male-wise, I don't know any male family member that went to therapy before I did. And I didn't go until I was, later in years, right? So it's just strange to see how those things kind of play out. and to use those things, it just doesn't really make sense. But now here's another statistic which I thought was really interesting. Okay. Studies indicate that when men do engage in therapy, satisfaction rates are generally high. Again, the APA, which is the American Psychological Association, reports that approximately 73% of men who complete therapy report positive outcomes. I want you to really let that sink in. I'm going to say it again. 73% of men that complete therapy report positive outcomes. So that's positive outcomes in their relationship, positive outcomes with their children, positive outcomes at work, everywhere it affects them negatively, they see positive outcomes. So wherever you would find an issue that was plaguing you, if you took therapy and completed it, you would see progress in that area 73% of the time, which I would take 73% odds any day of the week. I would absolutely take 73% of anything as a winning proposition. And I'm sure that most of you would as well, or most of you would agree. So again, most of them said that the therapies used language that resonated with them, that touched their heart, that made them realize the error of their ways, or the error of allowing their past experiences, their past negative experiences, to affect them in the future. The therapist was able to speak to them in a way that resonated in their heart and made them comfortable enough to make the change. You got to think about how powerful that is, and this is like, I had to look this up because I was wondering, like, why don't more of us do this? And this became very apparent to me. So now it says, okay, they said that the treatment gave them practical solutions to work alongside the emotional processing. Think about what these things are. If you are at work and you had an issue at work, or you were working with an operating system, and somebody said, well, listen, I'm going to give you some practical solutions that's going to help you be able to process this information and get it to your boss so you can get a promotion. You jump on that. You jump on that, right? If something told you and showed you that it was going to work and give you the tools to make sure that it continued to work, you would likely use that. But therapy does that. But why don't we use those tools? Why don't we open ourselves up to even understanding that those tools are available to us? I mean, it's the more I'm thinking about it, the more it's just like, gee, what, and nowadays, just to kind of give people an idea, like nowadays you have online therapy where you don't even have to go in the office. You can do it from the comfort of your home in your pajamas, right? You could set your own time, right? It's so many people doing teletherapy at this point that you could literally set your own time. I would love at some point to be able to give you guys resources. At this point in time, this is, like I said, we haven't gotten to where I've grabbed or met with enough people to give you, all of the retail outlets that you would be able to kind of get your own teletherapy from. But I think it's important, and I will get that and share that with you, whether I put it in in the chat or whether I put it in the description. But somewhere I believe that's going to be necessary, and it's going to play a huge part in knowing that you have access to that and it is not beyond your reach anymore, Maybe you need to talk to a male therapist because you feel like he'll understand you more. I'm going to say this, though. Let me preface this with it. If you're having a relationship issue, do not, and I'm probably going to get backlash for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's just my feeling. I think you're better off getting a female. Females will take better advice from a female. It feels that way. From having gone through therapy and having a male. And again, I'm not saying this in any way negative to bash the male therapist that I had, because I thought he was good. But I think that a female knows how to address another female in a way that she doesn't feel like these two men are kind of attacking me. Especially if she already has this kind of, feeling or trauma or past experience of men or being in an attacked position. She'll accept that or receive that from a woman a little bit differently. It's just my thought. And I could be totally wrong. I'm sure you guys will tap into the chat and let me know that I'm totally off base, that wasn't the case for you guys. And again, I'm not saying this in any way to be negative or to bash any male therapist. I'm just saying with my experience, this is what I would say. I would suggest that, if you're going to get a therapist and because you want relationship issues, try a woman. Just try a woman. I think women naturally have an ability to tap in emotionally to things, right? That's part of their power. Their superpower is to do that. So I would just say use it if it's available to you. I'm hope that in me doing this also reduces the stigmatism of attending therapy or needing therapy. Like, me having these candid conversations with you and being vulnerable enough to share some of my negative experience, my negative past experiences, NPE, negative past experiences. Yeah, I like that better than trauma for some reason, because trauma just denotes problems, which they are problems. But I feel like, in our healing process, let's try to take out the buzzwords. So our negative past experiences that have caused us to have present day negative experiences I hope that us talking about this in this open forum says it's okay to talk and discuss about what we're feeling, right? And we don't have to hide it anymore. It's not necessary to hide it. We can be vulnerable, we can be open, we can be truthful, we can be honest. Because it's needed at this point, in order for us to heal and grow and become, the best version of ourselves and allow for our children, our wives or husbands to become the best version of themselves, we have to accept that there's help out there. But the help only goes to those who seek. It's not going to come to you, you know? It's just not. It's not going to come to you. And you got to be prepared to make the sacrifices that are necessary to get that. Whether that be, you know, healing, whether that be, you know, spending the money, whether that be spending the time, making the sacrifices, going to find the right one, maybe going through 4 and 5 of them, because you got to find a therapist that loves you, that has enough love in themselves to share with you. That's just my opinion again. I found that anybody who's going to help has to have an empathy beyond the surface level to really get into you and understand your plight individually and not lump you into, oh, I see a bunch of couples like this. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that. Oh, I've been working with a bunch of, so what? I understand there may be some similarities, but I'm a unique human being, a unique individual, that I want to be seen for my individual needs. I don't want you to lump me into all of you couples are kind of like the same. No, I don't want to do that. And I don't want that kind of therapist. So just something to, you know, think about. But again, I hope that as we journey along, you know, you guys tap in, you know, share your thoughts. I need to see what you guys are thinking. I need to see and understand how it is that maybe what I'm talking about can resonate or help, or how could I get deeper into it? What are the things that you need from me so that I could, you know, hopefully give back? I don't want it to just be, you know, I'm okay with it being somewhat one-sided, but I don't want it to be only one-sided. I want it to be an exchange of loving, healthy ideas. I really want it to be that, you know, and hopefully it can be. And I really appreciate you guys tapping in. As always, I just ask that you like, subscribe, and share the podcast. We will eventually be on all media platforms. So you can look for us there at, you know, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, if they don't get banned, Snapchat. Just because I want to be able to reach as many people as possible. Because I really feel like, you know, as I grow through this, my healing radiates and gives other people hope and the opportunity to see that it's possible. It's possible. It's possible to grow. So again, I thank you, family. I appreciate you. Love, peace, power. May you be healed as this time goes on. And again, like, share, and subscribe. And again, we'll talk soon. Thank you.